My entitled neighbor thinks my pool is public property, and she just won't stop breaking in. I, 34 am, bought this house 3 years ago after grinding through a miserable apartment lease with thin walls and a neighbor who played death metal at 2 a.m. on weekdays. So when I finally got this modest, 2-bedroom home with a big fenced-in backyard and a beautiful in-ground pool, it felt like paradise. I work long hours and live a quiet life. The pool is my therapy. I didn't buy it to throw parties or entertain guests every weekend. I bought it because I earned it and because I wanted peace, which lasted exactly 4 days after she moved in. Karen. Yes, her name is literally Karen. You can't make this up. She moved in next door with her 2 kids, maybe 6 and 9, loud as sirens. And the moment I saw her hair, blonde with visible roots, and her car, white Escalade with a #MomLife decal, I had a sinking feeling. Still, I tried to be neighborly. I went over, knocked, and introduced myself. She didn't even shake my hand, just glanced up from her phone and said, "Cool, you the one with the pool." That should have been my first warning. A few days later, I was inside on a Sunday morning, brewing coffee, when I heard splashing. I live alone. No one had been invited over. I peeked out the window and froze. There were 2 kids in my pool, jumping and screaming like it was a public splash pad. One of them had dragged my float into the deep end. Karen was lying on one of my lawn chairs, sunglasses on, sipping from one of my cans of soda like she owned the place. I walked out stunned. "Excuse me," I said, already hearing the stress creeping into my voice. Karen looked up lazily, like I'd interrupted her spa day. "Oh hey, I figured you wouldn't mind." The kids were melting. "It's so hot today. You broke into my backyard," I said. "This is private property." "The gate wasn't locked," she said, shrugging. "And the kids just needed to cool off. It's not a big deal. You didn't even ask." "I was going to text you," she snapped. "But then I saw you were home and figured it was fine." I stared at her. I don't even have her number. She must have gotten it from someone else on the block or Facebook. Regardless, I was already pissed. "I'm not comfortable with this. Please don't use my pool without permission." She stood up, snatching her soda like I'd threatened her child. "Fine. Jesus, don't have to be a jerk about it." I watched her herd her soggy goblins out of my yard, both of them whining that it wasn't fair and that this guy is mean. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. 2 days later, I came home from work to find the gate wide open, a trail of wet towels leading to the pool, and graham cracker crumbs floating in the shallow end. My favorite lounge chair was soaked. One of my pool noodles had bite marks in it, and someone had left behind a plastic Barbie mermaid. I was livid. I marched straight to her door and knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder. Karen finally opened the door, clearly annoyed. "Look, I already said I was sorry," she began. "You said that 2 days ago, and yet your kids are still using my pool. They just wanted to cool off. It's summer. It's not like it's hurting anything. It's my pool, Karen. My yard. My stuff. I didn't spend thousands of dollars on landscaping and pool maintenance so random kids could treat it like a public park." She crossed her arms. "You don't even use it most of the time. And that's irrelevant. It's mine. Do not enter my property again." She rolled her eyes like I was the irrational one. "Okay, whatever. God, some people are just so uptight." I bought a chain lock for the gate that same night. Did it work? Of course not. The following Saturday morning, I was watching TV when I heard laughter outside. Not normal laughter. Karen's shrill, nasal cackling, and the unmistakable chaos of water fights. I bolted outside. She had climbed over the gate. Yes, climbed. A grown woman. She had moved my locked gate slightly off track and hoisted herself and her spawn into my backyard. There were snack wrappers on my patio table. One of the kids had dragged my pool skimmer into the grass like a toy, and there were muddy footprints on the edge of the pool. My voice cracked from yelling. "What the hell are you doing?" Karen jumped like she'd been caught robbing a bank. "Jesus, you scared me. Why are you in my yard again?" She had the nerve to say, "You locked the gate." That was the point. She got defensive immediately. "Okay, relax. You're acting like I burned your house down. You broke in. Again. After I told you. Twice, not to. I just don't see why you're being so selfish. It's a pool. You can't seriously expect to hog it all for yourself when there are kids in the neighborhood suffering in this heat." I was practically shaking. "Karen, if you step foot in my yard again without permission, I'm calling the police." "I'm not kidding." She grabbed her kids and left. No apology, no embarrassment. Just muttering about how I hate kids and should live in the woods if I hate neighbors so much. That night, I went full fortress mode. I installed a taller, padlock gate, extended the fence with privacy panels, and installed 2 cameras, one on the gate, one on the pool itself. I even put up a laminated sign. "Private property. No trespassing. Trespassers will be prosecuted." But this is Karen we're talking about. 3 days later, I caught her standing on a cooler, trying to peek over my new fence. She was watching me swim. I got out, wrapped in a towel, and yelled, "Do you have any idea how creepy you look right now?" She didn't even flinch. "You're unbelievable," she said. "You act like you're some celebrity with a VIP-only pool. You're just some guy with a house and no kids." I snapped. "You want the truth, Karen? I work 60-hour weeks. I saved for years to afford this house and this pool. I maintain it myself. I clean it. I pay for it. So yes, I'm going to enjoy it. And no, I'm not sharing it with someone who can't respect basic boundaries." She glared at me and muttered, "You'll be sorry." Then she walked away, and I couldn't help but get the sinking feeling. That was a threat. And Karen? She wasn't done. Not even close. It was a Friday. I was supposed to be at work until 6, but I got out early and figured I'd surprise myself with a lazy afternoon float. I even had a cold drink in the car cup holder and my Bluetooth speaker queued up with a jazz playlist. I was feeling good until I pulled into my driveway and saw it. The gate was open. I distinctly remember locking it that morning. I never forget. It's part of my mental checklist before I leave for the day. Stove off, doors locked, pool gate double-checked. But now, it was open. Just slightly. Just enough for someone small to slip through. I dropped my bag and ran for the backyard. That's when I heard it, splashing. Kids laughing. I turned the corner, and my blood ran cold. 2 children, Karens, were in the pool. Alone. No Karen in sight. Not in a chair, not on the patio, not at the gate. Just her 2 kids, unsupervised and wild. The older one, maybe 9, was holding a pool noodle and shoving the younger one toward the deep end like it was a game. The little one, probably 6, couldn't swim. I screamed, "Stop!" The older boy froze. The little one turned toward me, flailing, and I saw it. His face slipped below the surface. He didn't come back up right away. I ran. I didn't even take off my shoes. I dove into the pool fully dressed, grabbed the kid by the armpits, and yanked him up. He was coughing, sputtering, eyes wide with panic, but he was breathing. Thank God. I pulled him out of the water and wrapped him in the closest towel I could find, holding him for a second while he tried to calm down. He clung to me, shivering, clearly terrified. The older kid just stood there looking like he knew he was in deep trouble. I looked around. Still no Karen. I marched straight to her door, dripping wet, my heart still hammering. I banged so hard I thought I might break the door. Finally, she opened it. Full face of makeup, robe, drink in hand, some kind of spa music playing behind her. Me. Karen. Where the hell were you? She blinked at me. Oh, what? Me. Your kids were in my pool. Alone. The little one almost drowned. Where were you? Karen. Oh, I told them they could swim for a bit. They know how. Me and oh, they don't. And you don't have permission to send them into my yard, let alone when I'm not even home. Karen. Shrugs. I figured you wouldn't mind. You're always so uptight about your pool. Maybe if you shared it like a good neighbor. Me. He could have died. Karen. She flinched but recovered fast. Karen. Well, maybe if you had a proper child safety fence, that wouldn't have happened. This is really on you. I couldn't even speak for a second. The audacity was choking me. Me. Get your kids. And if I see them near my property again, I swear to God, I will press charges. I turned away before I said something I'd regret. That's when she yelled, "You're gonna regret this." Yeah, apparently I was. Because 20 minutes later, a cop car pulled into my driveway. I was inside drying off and talking to a friend on the phone when the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a uniformed officer and Karen, now suddenly tear-streaked and trembling, standing behind him. "Officer. Sir, we received a call about possible child neglect and endangerment involving a neighbor's children. Are you the homeowner?" Me. Yes. But she's lying. I saved her kid from drowning. I have the footage. Karen jumped in before I could finish. Karen. He left them alone. He didn't even try to help. I came over and found them coughing and terrified. He didn't even call for help. Me. You weren't even home. I have it on camera. Your kid was face down in my pool, and I pulled him out. Officer, do you have that footage? I didn't say a word. I walked to my kitchen, pulled the SD card from my indoor monitor screen, slid it into my laptop, and played it. I brought the laptop out to the porch and hit play. Footage showed her kids sneaking into the yard. Her unlocking the gate with a key she wasn't supposed to have. God knows how she copied it. Her leaving the yard entirely. Her getting in her car and driving away. Me coming home. Me sprinting into the backyard. Me diving into the pool fully dressed. Me pulling the child out of the deep end and calling 911. Yes, I did call afterward. Paramedics checked the boy, and he was okay. The officer watched the entire thing in silence. When it was done, he looked at Karen. Officer. Ma'am, I need you to turn around and place your hands behind your back. Karen. What? Officer. You're being placed under arrest for trespassing, child endangerment, and filing a false report. She screamed. I mean shrieked. Like she was being dragged into a haunted cave. She cried, cursed at me, told the officer he was a sexist pig, claimed I edited the footage. Everything short of pulling the "do you know who I am" card. Her kids were sitting on her porch next door, watching everything. The little one was wrapped in the same towel I gave him. The older one just stared blankly, like this kind of chaos was normal. Eventually, another officer arrived to escort the kids back into their house until CPS showed up. The aftermath? Karen spent the weekend in jail before her sister bailed her out. The neighborhood association met and voted unanimously to ban her from all community events and amenities. Her kids can't even use the public community pool anymore, not until this all clears legally. I had to give an official statement and hand over all my footage to investigators. CPS got involved, and her sister took temporary custody of the kids. I don't know if it'll be permanent, but I hope for their sake it is. As for Karen, she's facing charges. Real ones. Criminal trespass. Filing a false police report. Endangering a minor. She sent me a handwritten note a week later. No apology, just a vague threat. You'll get what's coming. Don't think this is over. I framed it. Right next to the footage still I printed out of her getting cuffed on my sidewalk. I've since changed the locks, raised the fence again, and installed motion-activated sprinklers. I also got myself a new pool float. A big obnoxious flamingo, and every Saturday I sip margaritas on it while blasting Good as Hell by Lizzo. Because I deserve peace. I earned this home. I earned this life. And Karen? Well, she earned her mugshot.